Well, hello my friends and welcome to another brand new episode of the East Lake Animal Education Centre. Today we're going to be adding two more habitats to this barnyard zone, the American Standard Donkey and the Highland Cattle. Let's get stuck in. So I've already put a brief shell together for the stables for the American Standard Donkey. Similar design to the Hill Radnor sheep, it's just a slightly different sort of size. And there'll be a different front on it as well. So I'm just going to start by putting these 3 metre tall walls in rather than the 4 metre. And then we put the slope on the back. And just keep following the slope up essentially until you reach the front. And then go ahead and pop the... So initially it was going to be 2 doors, and then I had this epiphany moment of using the station surrounds to make it 3. Because we do have 3 donkeys in the end, so it's nice for them to sort of have one stable each, or you can sort of, I don't know, put some of the foals in, depending. So we just match that up, and then we just need a 1 metre tall to fit in there, and then we just sink it down 1. And then that fits, and there isn't an awful lot of Z-fighting going on, which is a real bonus, quite frankly, because Z-fighting plagues most of my builds. So then inside, obviously creating these dividers for the different stalls, but want the donkeys to be able to sort of still see each other and interact with each other, and this is a good way of doing that. So I start with the wood fence. We go for the 2 metre wood fence. And for some reason I put that post on the end of it. I could have just copied the next one over, but whatever. And then the wooden gates are actually too big to fit in this gap, so I have to go with the metal gate. There it is, yeah. And then put the posts in that way. That one fits as well. So we do 2 of these, and they just separate the little boundary areas. There you go. We've shot forward in time. Putting the supports on for the front sort of sloped roof. And this little sort of concrete outdoor bit is the technical word for that. The outdoor bit. Set of words. What am I waffling on about? But yeah, unfortunately, as cool as these like stable doors look that I've created, they do have to go in the final build. And the simple reason is because the donkeys can't fit through that. They need more space than that, which is ridiculous that the hitbox is that big. But there you go. That's Planet Zoo for you. So go ahead and put some of the sort of enrichment in now. And just adjusting the fence line here to create a little bit of like a natural pocket. And the reason for that is A, because it's going to look nice, and B, it just provides a nice little break in sort of sight lines for the donkeys so they don't feel like they're being watched all of the time. Even though they are being watched all of the time. But yeah, just use the standard chain link fence for that. This end piece didn't do it for some reason, so I just slide that down and pop that in there. And then in here I want a nice big oak tree and some really sort of nice thick bushes. We do get that, but I am only going to show you the tree here rather than the bushes, because there's a lot of trial and error with the bushes. But the tree, I like how that looks. It's a nice tunnel effect we'll go for. Right, onto the cattle shed. So this was very different. I wanted a slightly more Scottish look to it, and a slightly more industrial look to it, because when I think of cattle, particularly the Highland cattle, I think of sort of dairy farms and working farms, and then Highland cattle, of course, Scotland. So I wanted a Scottish feel to it, but also an industrial feel to it. So hopefully the end product manages to achieve that. I'm fairly happy with how it turns out in the end. I think I'd probably make it a bit bigger, if anything, just because of the amount of cows that we have. just, yeah, I think I'd probably make it a bit bigger. But sort of aesthetic-wise, it definitely turned out how I wanted it to turn out. So obviously wanting to keep this stone theme, which was from the Twilight pack. Just go ahead and put those both in and then spin them round so they're vertical instead of horizontal. And then move them so they just poke out like so, where you don't want the Z fighting. And then we go and drop them down, line one side up, and then we just simply move the other side across. Which is exactly what you're seeing on the screen now. So it's still a bit high, gotta lower it down a little bit. Making sure it sits alright, that looks fine. And then I just move that one to the right. And there we go, that's our brick, our Scottish-esque brick. So the roof for this one, I wanted a much more industrial roof. So rather than going for like the wood tiles, the Arctic wood roof that we've been going for, we go for the metal planks. It just feels a bit more appropriate. You know, cows are quite hefty animals. They're big, they're bulky. Having a bit of trouble getting this one to snap. There we go. I do manage to get a lip on the ends as well as the front and the back. So you're going to see the front and the back. There's the front and there's the back. But yeah, we needed a lip on the left and right hand sides. So now we're doing the inner wall for the Highland cattle habitat, just because obviously cows are quite hefty animals. Again, that fence would probably not stand a chance. So all these wall pieces it's the rustic gate blueprint that comes with the barnyard pack. And all I've done is just remove the gate part of it, remove the plants, and just kept the two individual side pieces. And then I've also created one where I've mushed the two side pieces together to create this longer piece. And so putting a little bit of distance in there so guests can't actually touch the cows, but also that the cows can still get close enough for the guests to have a good experience. And we just go and do that around the entirety of the perimeter. There's one area of the fence that's left exposed, and that's purely for like encounters and stuff like that, you know, where you'd sell packages like feed a Highland cow for so much, and that's what you can see on screen now, is that little bit of exposed fence. So all we're doing here is putting the food and enrichment in for the Highland cow. This habitat's not 100% finished at this point. There is some more footage still to come, but we're going to go to a live section in just a second. Well, a bit longer than just a second. We're going to go to a live section essentially, and because we are in challenge mode, just take a look at our finances and what the sort of plans are, a little bit more long term, things like that. And then we'll return to building the Highland cattle habitat, and then it'll be the cinematics and then the episode will be over. So hopefully we'll be less than 20 minutes for this one. At the moment it's looking like it's going to be just over 20 minutes, which I'm not too fussed about. That's still a vast improvement compared to the last few episodes. I do want to get these episode run times on East Lake down. Dunswell Zoo, I don't mind doing them for like 30, 40, 50 minutes, but East Lake, sort of 15, 20, 30 is what I'm aiming for. So the live section is coming up, so I shall see you all after the weirdly past present JW has spoken to you. So I've just taken a very small break from building the Highland cattle habitat. So I'm not going to show you the finished thing yet. The reason why I've taken a break is because we are in challenge mode, of course, and I've just been monitoring our finances. We are now in profit, but we have been losing a fair amount of money. And the majority of that money has been staff wages. Purchases, construction costs, yeah. Income's looking good, at least. But we are in a good profit. And then I've just been forward thinking for the rest of the education centre. The Arctic foxes are the most appealing habitat species at the moment. And that's good because they're going to be in the zone what's behind the barnyard. They're going to go in the sort of forested area. So moving them to somewhere near the barnyard would be good because that's going to increase sort of guest flow over here. However, guest flow is doing alright, to be fair. It's pretty busy here, unfortunately. People going in and checking out the chickens. People sort of bottlenecking in this area because they can see, apparently, the sheep, which are over here. And obviously there's the chickens here. And then at this side you've got the donkeys. We'll see more of them a little later on. And behind that you can have the cattle. So what I want to do is, next episode we're going to build the llama and the alpaca habitat. So there's two separate habitats. And then the episode after that we'll do the alpine goat. And then after that, I think we'll sort of settle the construction down a little bit and just sort of see if we can claw some more money back. Just because we are under 200,000 at the moment, and the forest zone is going to be quite an expensive build. Lots of trees, lots of terraforming. It's going to be very modern, very eco-friendly, but it is going to be themed. It's going to feel very sort of woodlandy and foresty and stuff like that. So we're going to need a fair amount of money to do that. Some of our pigs are about to mature as well, so they can be sent to other collections, and our pigs can breed again. We've got nothing from the sheep yet, I don't think. We'll just double check. No pregnancies with the sheep, but that's okay. They'll do it when they're ready. And then we've got the cattle just here. They're not in yet, so the habitat's not finished. And then we've got the donkeys. So we've got 2 females and a male. We've got Holly, nothing there yet. Jones is our male, and Grace, nothing there yet. And then our chickens, these are our Nigel, great name for a chicken. Yeah, we've got Nigel and Nathan, and then none of the females are expecting chicks yet. That's absolutely fine. I'm not too fussed about that, to be fair. It's more mouths to feed at the end of the day, isn't it, I suppose. And I should also point out that this here, we'll just say group, we'll call it rocks and branches. This isn't mine, it's a blueprint. I can't remember who it's by. It might be Simply Savannah. Yeah. I'm going to go with Simply Savannah, but if it's wrong, I'll let you know. Oop, about to show you the cow stuff then. We're not ready for that. We've got the donkey den here. So yeah, I just wanted to pause and just explain that the next few episodes are sticking with the barnyard. And then we're going to try and claw back some money. Because although we are making a profit, it's not a particularly healthy profit. So I would like definitely to increase that profit so we have more money to build more habitats and get more animals and build better habitats for more animals as well. But the zoo itself is doing fine. Thurston energy is a little bit low. Their happiness is shocking. Why isn't the Hareman's tortoise exhibit being cleaned? Who else is unhappy? I really need drink. It takes too long to get served at Cosmic Cow Milkshakes 1. There's something in the orange. It's a shame Pip Shop water counter is so busy. Okay, so we can probably go ahead and open a few more of our... yeah, we've got space to put something else in here. But then I don't want to bottleneck this area too much. And Herman's taught us 1. So, oh god. Cleanliness. Requires keeper. Keeper assigned. Well, get a shift on. Let's let's help him along. Let's just yep, get cleaning. Is that it? Okay, that was it. That did the job. These are all doing okay, that's fine. And check this side. Check that side. Check that side. Some weird texturing going on with the giraffe balloons there. And then everything seems to be doing okay. Yeah. Brilliant, right. So that should improve the happiness, and we'll go ahead and move the pigs on when they mature. So yeah, I'll get back to building the Highland cow habitat. So this is where I was talking earlier, where the inside could have been a bit bigger. The actual building could have been a bit bigger, because we end up with, I think, 6 Highland cattle, 1 male and 5 females. This does feel a bit small for them, and even sort of in game, looking at them in here, it does feel quite small, but it does sort of fulfill their needs. So there is that, I guess. But then again, I do think the Highland cattle in the game are too small. They should be bigger. But that's probably not going to happen. So all I'm doing here is the sort of doorway, essentially. Just the door, the gate, the shutter, whatever you want to call it. The thing what will allow them to gain access between the two areas, the indoor and the outdoor. Initially I go for this sort of framed design, and then I go ahead and put a piece of corrugated, there it is, yeah, some of that in it. And we just shift the pieces around a little bit. It just sort of looks like it'd be a shutter what would roll down. I think that's quite appropriate for this sort of industrial look that I was going for in this habitat. So we just move those forward, and then we copy them and move them back, and then I go ahead and put another few pieces in, just because I don't like the fact that one of the edges doesn't sit straight. And that's what happens when you play Planet Zoo with OCD. Yep, it's that top left edge. So initially I copied this and I was going to shift it across, and then I decided not to. I then get a smaller piece and put that in instead. So as I've just said, we do end up with 6 Highland cow, I believe it is. We've got a nice range of colours going on, which is what I wanted. They are allowed to breed, but I won't breed them sort of excessively, just because I'm very aware of the indoor space of this habitat. It's a very similar story with the Hill Radnor sheep as well. But we're coming to the cinematics, so I shall speak to you all in just a few seconds. So here are the finished habitats. We have the Highland cows. That one's just had a poo. Gonna try and lay in it. Yep. And then we get some more shots of the cows. Got some of the different colours going on here. Really like that. You can see the donkey stable in the background. It doesn't detract from the view too much, which I quite like. It just sort of blends in. Your eyes are very much focused on the cows that are in front of you, not what's going on back there. And again, just more of the cows just interacting. This is our male. I don't remember his name, but he's not particularly fond of being on camera. And then we have our donkeys. So we have 3 donkeys in total. We have the 1 male and the 2 females. And I can tell you that after I finished recording this episode, the 2 females both got pregnant and they've both had foals. So we'll see how we do for space and size. We can maybe have a little herd of donkeys. Or the other 2 can be moved on to another collection. Or the male can be moved on to another collection and we'll just have a female herd. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's further down the line. So I shall leave you to enjoy these final shots of the donkeys. Thank you very much for watching and for sticking with me. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps me out and helps the channel to grow. You can find my YouTube, Instagram at JW_YT and my wildlife photography Instagram at JW_wildlife photography. Thank you for watching, my friends. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help me out and shows me that you like this kind of content. And I shall see you all next time for the alpaca and the llama habitats. Until then, my friends, stay safe, stay kind, and bye-bye for now.